Max struggles in verbally expressing himself, but understands the meaning of many words and can express likes and dislikes through facial expressions. When given choices, Max shows a 5 to 10 second delay before pointing to or vocalizing his choice. Max cannot be assessed on his vision due to his lack of communication, but it has been noted that he cannot see people that are more than 5 feet away from him. Max likes to interact with his peers. Max seems to like to listen to other students talk during literacy activities, but he becomes frustrated when he cannot be understood, which results in anger and crying. Max responds well to simple verbal instructions, gestures, and models when the person is close to him. Max likes to do jobs around the classroom but needs help going through the steps of a task. He benefits from peer help and does what he can by himself. Max is improving on pointing to about 15 pictures that represent common objects and a few actions when prompted by the teacher, saying, "Show me." Max has visual problems which require him to get much closer to things to identify them. This affects him when identifying objects in the classroom and on worksheets. Max does not seem to understand the daily schedule that is displayed in the classroom and does not seem to know that the schedule is even there. Max understands and reacts to preschool humor. He also likes to chase his male peers on the playground while another one of his peers helps by pushing his chair. Max is unable to grip and hold objects properly for long periods of time. His grip is so weak that he has trouble with using a spoon or fork correctly. Max is unstable when sitting without any type of support. His vision also suffers in the middle of all this. He needs to be placed quite closely to an object so he can see it clearly. When Max wants to play games on the computer, his parents must provide total physical assistance for him to be able to use the mouse or keyboard. If he decides to play on his iPad, he can do that independently because he is able to tap the screen. Max has low muscle tone in his trunk, which results in his need for support while in his wheelchair with shoulder straps, and the use of supports for when he sits on the floor. Max is unable to position himself without support because he cannot weight bear. Max needs support positioning himself while sitting on the toilet for stabilization. When Max uses his iPad, he needs complete physical assistance for him to position himself correctly to use the mouse or keyboard. Max has much movement in his upper extremities, characterized by athetosis. He has many unwanted movements in his arms and hands. Because of this, Max has a difficult time properly gripping and holding objects for a long period of time. His range of motion in his right elbow is 130 degrees, and in his left elbow it is 25 degrees. Max also has low muscle tone in his trunk and his legs, especially in lower legs. For mobility, Max uses a wheelchair. Max is not able to independently move his wheelchair. Max also needs support transferring on and off the toilet. Max is going to make a cup of dirt. The cup of dirt is a snack that has crushed Oreos, chocolate pudding, and gummy worms. Here are the steps and task demands to make the cup of dirt. Max will need to go to the restroom to wash his hands. He will need to remember where the bathroom is. He will also need someone to push his wheelchair to and from the restroom. In the restroom, he will need help pushing the soap dispenser and turning the water on. Once back in the classroom, Max will need to gather ingredients for the snack. This task will require Max to move around the classroom. He will need someone to push his wheelchair to do that. Max will also need to gather ingredients from the shelves. Max will need to know where the ingredients are located. He will have to ask for help pushing his wheelchair and reaching the snack. Now it is time for Max to make the snack. He will need to pour the pudding into the cup, place a spoon of crushed Oreos in the cup, and place 3 gummy worms in the cup. Max will be required to grip the pudding cup, spoon, and gummy worms and move his arm to put them in the cup. He will be at the table in his wheelchair, so no mobility is required for this step. He will need to be sitting up. Now Max can eat the snack. He will still be at the table and will not need to move. He will need to be sitting up in order to eat the snack. He will need to grip the spoon and bring the spoon from the cup to his mouth. He will need to ask for help if he needs help eating. Last, it is time for Max to clean up from snack time. He is responsible for throwing away his garbage, getting a wipe, and wiping the table. Max will need to have someone push his wheelchair to the garbage and to gather the wipes and then around the table while he wipes it down. He will need to be able to grab the wipe and hold it as he goes back to the table. Once at the table, Max will need to hold on to the wipe and reach his arm to the table. Max will need to ask for help pushing his wheelchair and holding the wipe around the table.
PAX, the Picture Exchange Communication System, would be a tool that has the compensatory benefits to complete the snack activity steps. When Max needs to request an item or has something he needs to get across, PAX would be beneficial. To purchase PAX, you can go online at PAX's official website. For the first time using PAX, you may purchase a starter kit for $153. When making the dirt and worms, Mac will use PAX when requesting what items he will need to complete each step of the recipe. The PAX can include pictures of the Oreos, worms, puddings, etc. To teach Max how to use PAX, he will need to be taught to select what he wants, take the picture off the Velcro, and place it on the appropriate place and hand the picture of what he wants. One adult is the one who prompts the child by holding the item the child wants to entice him to trade his picture for the item and then holding out the other hand to accept the picture. The second adult is the helper who sits behind or beside the child and physically helps him pick up the picture and give it to the other adult. Having two individuals initially to teach how to use PAX is very necessary. For $5.95, you can purchase the adapted spoon utensil online visiting the website provided. Max will use an adapted spoon for the step in the task to spoon the crushed Oreos and place them on top of the pudding. This will enhance his ability to be able to manipulate a small object such as a spoon. He will use the adapted spoon to eat the snack. To use this adapted spoon, Max will need to learn how to grip onto the spoon correctly. There are different types of adapted spoons. The one that the website sells has a strap that Max can easily slip onto his hand and use the spoon as he would naturally. The Gopher Grabber can be purchased at Target online for $10. During the snack, Max will use the Gopher Grabber, which will assist him to grip the gummy worms. The gripper makes it easier to grip the gummy worms and move them into the bowl. For the step of cleaning up the snack, Max will use the gripper to hold the wipe. This feature enhances the ability to push the wipe across the table. To use the tool, Max will need to learn how to grip onto the gopher and how to grasp the object that he wants.
To play the game, Max needs to follow these steps. Step 1. Get bingo card. Before starting the game, Max needs to get a bingo card. To get a bingo card, Max needs assistance moving his wheelchair. To complete this task, Max needs to know where to go to get his bingo card. Max needs to be able to access the bingo cards. After getting the bingo card, Max needs to hold it while traveling back to his desk. Step 2. Get dotted to mark square. After getting his bingo card, Max will get a dotter to mark the squares on the card. Max will have to locate the area of the classroom where the dotters are stored. He will then have to get assistance to move his wheelchair to get the dotter. When bringing the dotter back to his spot, Max will hold the dotter in his hand. Mark free space. After getting the dotter, Max will have to locate and mark the free space on the bingo card. Max will need to pick up the dotter in his hand and move his arm when marking the space before beginning the game. During this time, Max will remain seated at the table. Mark square. Max will use the dotter to mark the squares on the bingo card. The dotter will be provided as an easy way for Max to mark the spaces on the card. Max will hold the dotter in his hand when marking the card. The dotter is round enough for Max to grip and manipulate. Step 3. Playing the game. Max has to listen for the teacher to call out the names of the animals. After the animals are called out, Max needs to locate the animal on the card and mark the space. After Max has marked 4 spaces with his dotter, and they are in a row, he will achieve a bingo. Max needs to recognize and alert the teacher that he has achieved a bingo. you.